Welcome to Sweet Tea with Coach Key. No slime, no grime, straight sugar. Real life stories of inspiration, perseverance, and prosperity. I hope you have your teacups ready. We have the sugar.
Welcome to Sweet Tea with Coach Key. This particular episode is with my hubster.
Hello.
My favorite person in the whole wide world. And we are speaking about millennials being married in their 20s. Because, we were married in our 20s and we are considered, I'm considered a millennial. Are you a millennial?
No.
Oh.
I'm not a millennial.
So what are you if you were born in 1987?
I'm an 80s baby.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so this is sort of to give you some insight on our journey of getting married young, because I was 23.
23.
I was 23.
And I was 25.
Yes.
Yes, 25.
Whew. So there you have it. So throughout this journey, it has been a journey, right, babe?
It's been a journey.
So let's talk about when we first made the decision to get married. What do you remember what that was like?
I felt a little pressure, not from you, just from society, just thinking of, what it means to be a family man and to have a family, and in order to take the next step to becoming a complete family man was to be married.
So did you always want to be a family man?
No, I can never say that I actually even saw myself being a family man rather than wanting to be a family man. So no, I ain't never really thought about it, as far as a teen growing into adulthood of being married. No, I never seen myself as being a married family man.
I think that's very interesting because I never considered being a wife. I actually thought, it was actually brought to my attention that I used to say all the time that I'm never getting married. Like, I'm just never getting married. I used to say all the time that I would never buy a house. Like, I would never sit still in any place long enough to buy a house. That's off topic, but yeah.
I can remember you saying that.
Buying a house or getting married?
The buying a house thing.
Yeah, like I
never want to buy a house. I remember having conversations with you about that.
I think that psychologically within my family, it was sort of not appreciated to be stable in certain areas. It was looked down upon to make a commitment on certain levels of your life, and making those commitments was risky, and it provided a lot of risk as opposed to being single, being vulnerable, allowing different people in and out your life, in and out your bedroom.
It's funny you say that because I think it's more so our people in general, not just your family, but our black people, just period. Like they look at it as you never hear growing up, you'll never hear the positive from our own community about being married.
Yeah.
It's always a negative thing. Well, you might get divorced. That's the first thing people say.
Yeah, or he gonna cheat
on you, or it ain't gonna work out. The money, that's the message a young person gets from somebody that's older who may not even been married prior by themselves. They just they just throw that out there and scare young people away from the whole perception of marriage.
Yeah, so my mom married my dad, and the very oddest thing ever, right? So I speak sometimes about how my dad wasn't as present because of work and other circumstances. But when my parents got divorced a couple years ago, it hurt my heart. Like I don't think we were married yet when they got. Were we?
I think so.
We were married. It was fresh though, and it really did break my heart when my parents divorced. My dad is since remarried, and my mom has moved on with her life. But it seemed like no one was there to support my mom going through that transition, because it's like, It's what's best. Up, I knew it was going to end anyway. Up, it was never good for you. She didn't receive that support as a wife that she needed. Not to say that would have, prevented them from getting divorced, but just along the journey of being in that role, it helps to have support. And I'm speaking for myself. Being married and being young, it changes a lot, especially in the day of age of Facebook and Instagram. And I think no, it was MySpace wasn't. No, it was back then. Anyway, so it changes a lot of things. So I had to make sure that the people who I surrounded myself with were on that same level, psychologically, and with supporting me being a wife.
Right.
For instance, people wanting to go to the club, but you single, I'm your homegirl, I'm there with you. This ring on my finger don't mean nothing at 2:30 in the morning at the club when everybody's drinking.
Exactly. From my point of view on that is, as time goes on and, we get a little older, you kind of like start to weed people out that's not on the same, level field of thinking as you, because I can remember times like how you're referring to, times where I would hang out with people that are single and, we going out and their main thing is to, meet women. But I'm not on that level because I'm a married man, back in the day, like that would have been a thing to do. But, as I get older, I'm too grown for that, not to sound crazy, but that's what it is.
I think too, with friends, it was, the mentality for me was just different. I think that if I'm in a situation, but you facing a different situation, I'm going to respect your situation.
Yeah.
But
as a friend,
yeah. Right? But I think that on the flip side, I find that, now this is in the past, this isn't with the friends that I have today. I have pretty close people to me today because I'm smarter and wiser who've been divorced.
Yeah.
Who are back in the dating field, who have been married long periods of time and had a revelation to transition out of that marriage, So it's not to say that you can't be friends with single people or I don't have single friends. It's a mentality, and it's a level of respect. I think that a lot of people have this misconception that married people are missing out on something, especially being young and married. I actually accessed this article by Elite Daily, and it lists why getting married in your 20s might be the worst idea ever. And it says here, you have no idea what you want, and you'll have to compromise a lot. It says, I don't know if I will be in the same place 2 months from now, let alone 2 years. If you are married, you can't just make life decisions on your own. It's not all about you anymore. You won't be able to move across the country without taking your better half into consideration. You can't just be hung over for an entire week and just not give a crap that someone now cares about you. It's probably time to forget about that mango farm.
Okay, let me just stop you there. I don't know if you're done with the article or not, but being married takes a certain level of maturity to start with. And if you don't have that, that level of maturity to take that leap to be married, then of course you're gonna look at, you're gonna listen to the negative stuff, and like that ad clearly lists things of a young person with, somebody who failed marriage, they would say something like that, like, you young, you don't know, you got a lot to live for, you got your whole life to make a decision like that. When truly, when you finally meet that person, and you know that y'all are soulmates, and what you start living life together, you be like, damn, I wish I would have met you sooner,
Is that what you thought?
Yeah, like all the way, like, yeah, like we should have been starting, because once you get married, I swear, I feel like things start to turn for the better.
It does.
And then
stop that fornicating. It does. And it wasn't, I'm not going to lie to you, the intent to get married was not to stop. It wasn't to stop sinning. That wasn't our motivation. It was a perk. That was not the intent. But it was a byproduct of making a good decision that was, within what our heart desires. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to go back really quick. I think what I call my husband Austin, and I call him Lovey. So I think what Lovey was trying to say, or to piggyback on what he was trying to say and expand on what he was trying to say, is the points in this article, because one of the things it lists is you need to focus on your career and your job. So what he's not saying that the things that are listed in that article do not matter. What he's saying is, if you're going to take that leap to get married, you have to have a certain level of maturity to balance both.
Right.
Like your person that you're marrying has to have a level of maturity to balance both.
And see, just how you just, clean that up, because it might not have came off as smooth, as some people might not have took that well, or, or whatever. You knew what I was talking about, because it takes that level of maturity to know your soulmate, your person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Amen. Okay, but yeah, so, and to expand on that point even further, when Austin and I got married, Austin has no biological children. I came into this marriage with 2 little boys. So, a level of maturity, like, expand on that.
Yeah, so, I didn't have too many people, because, I kept a small circle of people. And the people that I did keep, they understood the situation and they knew the situation. So I never really had too much negative ear feeding to me. But you would think, just the community of our people, it would be like, man, what you doing? Like, you a young man, you don't have no kids. Why would you do that? And that's the type of stuff you would hear, but, I had a little circle.
So you heard?
I heard that,
okay.
I heard that. Some people did say that, but, in your mind, you gotta kind of like weigh the good with the bad, or whatever however you want to take it. Like, you gotta weigh certain things out.
And we all have different capacities.
Yeah, everybody
can't handle, don't want to handle.
Everybody's level of taking stuff in and out is totally different.
Right.
So, I heard that, I take it for what it is, and, I make the decisions on my own. At the end of the day, I'm the one that has to deal with it. I'm the one that's taking the commitment. I'm living my life.
Right.
I had to do what I got,
Right. I think that's very important for the younger, which is so subjective, the younger generation, to take that in mind. So we did what we wanted to do. We did what we felt was right to do, but we also put our big bloomers on, our big britches on, and we did it. We got married. We moved out of our hometown. We moved out of our hometown. We got married, and then we eventually moved back. But while we were living out of town, we experienced the boys going to school for the first time, not having a supportive parents right down the street or around the corner, or just 2 exits down on the highway. We had to really learn how to support one another. But we were equally yoked, and we were prepared to take this journey on, even though we didn't know what we was going to face. And even still today, we knew that we had each other's back no matter what. And I would just say, knowing that and having that understanding with somebody is the most essential. Not having this job or having that job, or somebody telling you it's the right thing to do, or whatever the situation is. The bottom line is making sure that it's something that you and the person who you are wanting to take this step with are on the same page.
That is the nail on the coffin.
Well, how amazing was that? I'm going to cut the podcast short right there. Me and Austin have so many more juicy topics to talk about, but we're going to save that for a future date. I do appreciate you tuning in to this session of Sweet Tea with Coach Key, and you enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.